Today's topic is going to be a very simple one, and it's going to be on the idea of whose plan have you bought, right? And I know off the riff here, that's a little bit of a broad kind of claim or statement, but what I mean by whose plan have you bought is everybody and anybody that has been in the world that we know of today has bought someone's plan, right? Whether that be your parents' plan, whether that be your own plan that you created, whether that be your role model's plan, whatever it is, you have a particular plan that you have integrated in your life and you have partaken in some way. And that can range from, as I had mentioned, multiple different people. That plan could have come from multiple different circumstances. That plan could have come from multiple different occurrences that may have happened to you in your lifetime that you have lived on this earth. The reality is that some of them are beneficial to you. Some of them are very positive. Some of the plans that you may be partaking in a day's time are actually pushing you closer towards your goals or where you want to be in life. That being said, there are many goals that we have, or many plans that we have acquired and that we have integrated in our mindset and have pushed into the world that aren't serving us in the best way possible. We have, based off the mindsets of other people, based off the ideologies of things that we've heard, created a structure and a plan for our life. And as a result, we are either getting closer to our goals or we're getting farther away from them. What I mean by whose plan have you bought is whose plan have you solidified within your brain? Whose plan are you following on a day-to-day basis? Because if we take the time to actually reflect and sit with ourselves, sometimes we can come to the conclusion that we're not actually following the plan that we want, or we're not following the plan that we actually even created for ourselves. And that can become very dangerous. And the reason why that can become dangerous is because of the fact that wherever that plan came from is where you're going to end up going. Wherever that plan plans to go, you're going to go with it. And if it's not somewhere that you want to be in, if it's not the plan that you actually created, well, you're pretty much basing everything off chance within your life. You're basing off that plan that you're following that you maybe have heard from someone, or that you maybe integrated from whatever you have, been taught or learned. And you're not really 100% certain where it's going to get you because it's not your own plan. You didn't create it. You didn't sit with yourself, ask yourself, what type of life do I actually want to live? What type of life do I actually want to leave when I leave this three-dimensional playing field? And as a result, you're not certain of where you're actually going to end up. And what can that cause? That can cause multitude of different emotions that will not play in your favor, whether that be anxiety or fear or depression, because you just don't have a knowingness of where your life is going to end up. And that can be a very, very sad life, and that's not what I want for any of you. And the whole point of this video is to allow you to cultivate the mindset and the idea of actually creating a plan that you want for yourself, actually creating a plan that you created. Because if you're not doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You are allowing the world to take you by its hand and move you with the wind and move you wherever it wants to. And although some are lucky and they end up in the places where maybe they thought they wouldn't be, and it ended up actually being better than it is, that's a very, 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 very select few individuals. And it's not common to think for yourself that that's going to happen to you, that you can just go through life and it, come up with the excuse that, oh, maybe you'll get lucky, or oh, maybe someone will come and save you. It's a very futile plan. I sit here today to tell you that all of you need to cultivate your own plan. Whose plan have you bought? Number one is what you have to question and what you have to ask yourself. What you actually have to reflect upon is, who have I been following? What have I been listening to? What thoughts and ideologies have I cultivated within my brain and I'm now putting out into the world? And you'll quickly realize that either A, it's serving you, or A, it's not. And if it's not serving you, I suggest you change it. Because anybody with the right mindset of wanting to achieve the goals and wanting to achieve the life that they actually want, they would do that. Today, I'm going to tell you specifically how I believe and how I feel it will benefit you of the greatest potentiality in regards to making your own plan and actually creating a life that you want for yourself. One of the ways that I have seen to create the best plan possible is to start looking at the places that I am maybe, following, and look at the people that I've been taking ideologies and mindsets from, and ask myself, do I want to be where they are right now? Do I want to be where they're ending up? Because a lot of time we as human beings are actually able to very well predict where that person is going to end up. If you have an alcoholic that is constantly partying and has no sense of direction in life, we can pretty much assume that their life will end in demise unless they change their plan, unless they change their mindset, unless they change their ideas and their thought process of how and where they want to go in life. And until then, they will continue going down that path. So ask yourself, number one, where has this plan originated from? And once you find that, ask yourself, the people that are following the same plan, do I want to be where they're at? If you don't want to work a 9 to 5, and you have been following the plan of people telling you to work a 9 to 5, and you look at their lives and you don't feel any congruency with where they are to where you want to be, that is a clear indicator of a plan that you should not be following. That is a clear indication that you should stray from that path. and you should create your own plan and solidify it within your brain. Once we've established that, number one, we obviously don't want to continue the plan that we're doing because it hasn't been getting us to the goals that we want, but it's actually been getting us closer to the goals that we don't want and to the places where we don't want to be and like the people that we don't want to be, we can then start to cultivate a new plan for ourselves. And a way that you can cultivate a new plan for yourself is by sitting with yourself and truly asking yourself, what is it that you actually want? You know, as simple as it may sound, so little people actually do it. So little people actually sit with themselves, ask themselves, is the job that I'm in right now actually where I want to be? Am I actually in the relationship that I actually want to be in? Am I living in the environment that I actually want to live in? Once you start to ask yourself these deep questions, yeah, it's going to feel fearful. Yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable because as a direct result of you doing this, you know there's going to be change. You know there's going to be a little bit of unknown in that circumstance. But I promise you, the payoff is undeniably beautiful once you start to move towards your goals and you see that this new plan that you're cultivating, this new plan that you're creating is actually getting you where you actually want to go. So how do we do this? We sit with ourselves and we feel what that plan would ultimately look like. We go to the end result in mind and we work backwards, right? I've noticed in my life the best way to ultimately get what I want in this world and what I desire, right? The good desires of success and retiring my parents and all these beautiful things that I want to achieve. I ask myself, how am I going to get there from a reversal type plan? And what I mean by that is taking in reverse where I would go, right? What I would do in that process to achieve that goal. So if the end result is to retire my parents, well, I just work backwards. I go, okay, I've retired my parents. I've already achieved other goals. How did I get there, right? What were the things, what were the implementations that I put into my life that got me there? How was my plan structured out? What was the blueprint of my plan? Because without a blueprint, you can't even have a plan. To ask yourself these deep questions of what does my life look like? What did I do to get here? What are the things that a rich person, what is the things that a successful person, what is the things that a happy person, what are the things that a fit and healthy person would do, right? And from there, you can cultivate a plan. From there, you can actually create it and start to implement it within your own life. So if the goal is to lose 100 pounds, well, what would a person that lost 100 pounds have done in order to get there? Well, they probably would have eaten healthier. They probably would have worked out a certain amount of days. They probably would have gotten good sleep. They probably would have taken care of themselves. They probably would have started to self-love themselves. All these multitude of different things to ultimately get there. Another beautiful way to do it is if you were to have an interview with your future self, if you were to have an interview with that individual that actually has already implemented that plan and gotten the results as a result, what would they tell you, right? What would be the things that they would tell you that they cultivated? What would be the things that they told you they took on as their own personality to ultimately get there, right? If they were someone that was weak and then they ended up being strong, what did it take of them to actually become strong? What did it take of them to become will-minded and to become smart and to become intelligent and wise and at peace with themselves? What did it take? And once you come to that conclusion and you go through these little scenarios and these little stories and these little play-by-play strategies to get you closer to your goals, you'll start to hit them. And it's very simple. So many people tend to overlook it though. So many people tend to overcomplicate the simplicity of actually creating a plan. But it really just becomes a matter of knowing thyself, knowing what it is that you want in this world. Because if you don't know what you want in this world, no one's going to create it for you. No one's going to come and tell you, hey, this is what you want. You know deep down in your soul. You know deep down that burning desire to go and get out of that job, that burning desire to not do school, or that burning desire to do school, or to get out of the place that you're in, or to move states, whatever it is, guys. You know what is right. You feel it in your soul. You just need to act upon it. You need to take that first step. And I want to give you a story of a boy and a horse. There's a boy and a horse in the woods, and the boy can't get out of the forest. He doesn't know where to go. He's looking. He doesn't have a plan in set foundation of how to actually get out of the forest because he has no sense of direction, right? He has no clearing. He has nothing that he can actually use to guide him, right? But the horse says, just take the first step. Take that first step in order to find that clearing. Take the first step. That's what you need to do. And it's such a simple story, and it kind of sounds stupid me saying it right now, but truthfully, guys, just take the first step. Start by creating that plan in the first place of, I'm going to take the first step here. You're going to create a blueprint. You're going to create a step-by-step guide of how I'm going to get there, and just start acting upon it. You can't achieve a plan and the goals that you want for yourself if you don't act upon it. You can create as many plans as you want. You can create as many goals as you want. But if you're not going to actually act upon it, there's no use. It's futile. So really the whole idea here is to know thyself. Know what it is that you want in this world by sitting with yourself and asking yourself, are the plans that I'm following right now actually getting me where I want to be? And if they're not, guys, it's very simple. You just change it. You are the dictator of your life. You're the individual that can actually change it with the snap of a finger as soon as you take action and actually act upon it. And understand that all those people that are in the life that you don't want, if you continue following down that path, will be the inevitable that you will end up where they are. And as a direct result, you just need to do the opposite. You just need to do what it is that they're not doing. So if they're doing things that you don't want to do, just do the opposite. And I do this and I make these videos just as a reminder for all of you. You know all these things. But if I can be any push, if I can be any message to any of you, it's to just know that all of this is just a reminder to go after what it is that you want in this world. And in order to go after what it is that you want in this world, you need to establish it first, and you need to make it very clear to your subconscious to be actually able to act upon it. I really believe in all of you. And if this has helped you in any way, I want you to know that, you know, the amount of information is not going to do you any service, once again, if you don't act upon it. And so if I could leave you with one last remark, it's just to get going. Get started, make that plan it out, and actually start to act upon it. And I promise you, your life will change before you know it. God bless all of you. Just a little reminder. I really hope that helped you. I really hope that was able to give you a new mindset on the world that you live in today. And if it makes you get anywhere closer to your goals, I did my job. So God bless all of you. Take care.